Hey, it's the Preacher, and I'm in the kitchen. And if you saw a recent video of mine where my wife and I were celebrating our 26th anniversary by making pear butter, you probably had some questions like, what's pear butter? Or how do you make pear butter? Or you may know how to make pear butter and you just want to know how I make pear butter. Well, let's start with what is pear butter. If you've ever had apple butter or plum butter, I didn't know there was a plum butter, but evidently there is. If you've ever had a fruit that's been cooked down like applesauce, sweetened, cinnamon added, cooked to its spreadable, not like applesauce, but spreadable, pureed, and then put on toast or biscuits or something like that, that's apple butter. This is pear butter. The only difference is we're making it out of pears. So with that being said, it's a boring process. It takes a long time. There's two ways to do it. You can put it in a crock pot and let it cook down slowly, like we're doing, or you can put it in a big pot and just stir it and stir it and stir it and stir it till it reduces down. But we started out with, man, I don't know how many pears. My wife come home from school with trash bags full of pears. And of course some of them, had bad spots in them. And some of them, broke when they fell off the tree. So we went through, cut all the cores out, peeled them all, cut them up into small chunks, and then began piling them in crock pots. And it's been about, maybe 14 or 15 hours since we started them in the crock pots. Let me show you what's happened. Okay, as you can see, I have 3 crock pots. All 3 of these crock pots started out, rounded up. You couldn't, they were 3 or 4 inches above the top. When this pot started cooking down, because it's the worst of the 3 as far as heating evenly, I started adding everything that was in that pot into these 2 pots. And then they were kind of rounded up. And so basically what you're doing is you're allowing these pear pieces to just cook to nothing. And I don't know if you can see, but there's steam coming off this. And that's another thing we're trying to do, is get rid of moisture. So what we want to do is get the moisture out, get the pears soft. And these were on warm overnight, and then I put them on low this morning because I didn't want to get up during the night and stir them. But as you can see, it's just kind of mush. And we're going to let it keep going until it gets thick. Till the juice comes out, till the pears completely break down and you no longer see chunks. I had 12 sticks of cinnamon in there. I pulled those out. So making pear butter is kind of like watching paint dry. It's boring. You just come over here every 30 minutes and stir it around and keep it steaming and keep it mixed up. Keep it from burning. And then when it gets thick and about the right consistency, I'll bring you back and show you the important part. Better than my pillow, it's a pepper pillow. They're really ballooning up. And then there was one. So here we have what started out as 3 large crock pots of diced up pears that have been cored and peeled, have cooked down and evaporated down to now we are just pear mush. We had for probably today is the 4th of September, and it's 12 o'clock. We started this on the 2nd of September, which is my wife and I's anniversary, that night. So this has gone for about 2 straight days. So about 48 hours of crock pot with no lid. You can see the steam rising off of it. Now's the time to blend it with what we got left. So I'm going to transfer this into a container. I'll get the immersion blender out, and then once we get it pureed to the consistency we want, we'll start adding some seasoning. Okay, I ladled everything out of the crock pot into here, and as you can see, we've got just right at 1 gallon. I'm going to use an immersion blender. If this is not enough, we'll put it in the upright blender and do it properly. Let me bring you in closer, you can see what I'm doing. Okay, that's nice and smooth, thick. I think we'll leave it just like that. Let's start putting the flavors we want in it. This is a half a teaspoon of ginger, and keep in mind this is a full gallon of really thick pear butter. So there's a half teaspoon of ginger, a half teaspoon of nutmeg, a full teaspoon of pumpkin spice mix. And just to add a little depth of sweetness, I'm going to give it a pretty good squirt of honey. Remember, we used 12 sticks of cinnamon when we were cooking it down. And now the secret ingredient. 1 tablespoon of molasses. Alright, I'm going to get this somewhat blended, and then I'll get the immersion blender back out. I knew you had a silver spoon in your mouth ever since the day I met you.
Yes, sir.
Alright, I'm going to try a little piece on toast. Wow. It may just be that I haven't had any carbs in about 2 weeks. Man. I think cooking it down with the cinnamon sticks in the crock pot just changed everything. Alright. Before I go in a carb coma, this is very good. Pumpkin spice, nutmeg, ginger, molasses, honey, and we use cinnamon sticks while it cooked down. Depending on the kind of pears you have, how juicy they are, how hard they are, all of those things will dictate how long it takes. The main thing is just to keep the heat low and keep stirring it, and be patient, and don't stop cooking it until it comes out thick like that. So anyways, there you have it. A anniversary edition, 26th anniversary for me and her, pear butter. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.